Welcome to a historical moment on Friedman Adventures as Captain Rick Russell on the Pacific Islander attempts to bounce a Dorado into a trash can. He shoots, he scores! What a magnificent shot. Every once in a while, a man like Rick Russell comes along and pulls off something that people previously thought would be impossible. Congratulations, Captain Rick Russell.
You guys are so great. Thank you.
Hey, we here at Friedman Adventures are already getting ready to head to Mexico again and distribute some items to the poor down there who really need our help. It all starts with great families like this donating items, and then our dedicated volunteers take the items to Gallagher Staging, where we warehouse everything. Of course, we've got to go through the clothing and separate it into men, women's, and children's, shoes, and other categories, and make sure that it's really quality items that we are sending down there. Can't wait to head to Mexico again and distribute these items to some people who really need a hand up. It is the Friedman Adventures family. That's each and every one of you coming together to help our brothers and sisters across the border. I could not be more proud of you. Thanks for all you do. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Man, it's a gorgeous morning. There's a little wind here this morning, but offshore it's absolutely beautiful. Finally starting to calm down, and it's going to stay that way until Sunday evening. It looks like we'll get a little bit more wind. Last Grunion run of the year going on in northern Baja and southern California beaches. You ought to take the kids out while there's still one left this year. Tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, there will be little Grunion all over our SoCal beaches, and that's always a lot of fun. The Bluefin tuna, are they set to bite again? And I mean bite big time. It sure looks like it. Tremendous Dorado fishing going on out of San Diego, and private boaters encountering yellowfin tuna over a vast ocean here now. They're finding them everywhere. Hey, you know what time it is. I'm not going to forget the toast this morning. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, is that good? And it's so good to be with you bright and early here on this glorious Thursday morning. Hey, let me cover a few things with you on the calendar tonight. The Danny Cadota Show. Don't miss it, live at 6 p.m. Danny's a great guy. His knowledge is vast. He knows so much about this business. You can ask him any question you like. Tonight, 6 p.m., Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, live 6 p.m. with Danny Cadota. Also, this Sunday morning at 22nd Street Landing, we're going to meet at 9 a.m. and take off and go for a 45-minute, 1-hour walk. If you'd like to join me on that walk, I'd love you or your kids or whoever to come down. If you're not into the exercise thing quite yet, we're going to convince you that it's a good idea. Come on down at 10 o'clock and we'll have some coffee for you. If you'd like to sit around for an hour and BS about fishing or anything else for that matter, we'd love to see you. So Sunday, I'll be at 22nd Street, 9 a.m. We take off for our walk. Should be back around 10 a.m. and then we'll have coffee. I've got water for all of you who go on the walk. And by the way, whether you are an Olympic runner or you go really, really slow, you're going to go at your own pace on this walk. So don't worry about that. Hey, and a couple of charters. We have the Apollo leaving a week from tonight out of C4 Sportfishing in San Diego. If you'd like to join us, the cost is $350. Fishing's red hot right now within range of that trip. We're going to be leaving at 10 in the evening on Thursday evening, September 7th, and back September 8th at 7 p.m. That is going to be another great Friedman Adventures trip. And then also, of course, October the 20th. What a trip. What a boat. It's going to be so much fun. 5 days on the Independence, $2,250. If you'd like to get on that one, go to independentsportfishing.com or call the number you see right there. All right, good to be with you all, and it's a gorgeous morning. The sun is just starting to come up. It's very overcast. Seas look nice, and as I mentioned, there's a little bit of a breeze, but really not that bad at all. Let's start you out on the other side of the border where we see several pangueros, our friends down there in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. they're out catching Dorado on the kelps. There's some yellowfin tuna crawling all around there. There's some yellowtail on the kelps, and there's even quite a bit of marlin pushing up the Baja coast right now. And if all else fails, there's great rock fishing down in Ensenada right now. And also, if you concentrate on calico bass or you want to try to catch a halibut, you got a good shot at those species also. So our brothers and sisters south of the border are doing quite well right now, and they are a window to us as to what is headed our way. I love looking down the Baja coast because as long as the push is upward, which it is, and as long as we have this El Nino in play, creating more warm water and bringing more warm water species into SoCal, this is going to be really, really exciting in coming days, and a lot more marlin being seen around. All right, we mentioned the bluefin tuna. You know, they've been off the bite for a while, but it's typical during the moon phase that we're going through, and it's also typical that the light switch goes on, and that light switch is set to go on at any point in time. The nighttime bite, there's been some fish taken at night, of course, using heavier jigs, 300 to 400 grams with metered line, so you know how deep your jig is. That's a line that changes colors every 100 feet and dropping when the captain tells you to drop. There's been some nice big fish, but not a lot of them. The daytime bite out on Tanner is just starting to get back into the groove, and there's a tremendous amount of fish out there on Tanner and Cortez, and a lot of big yellowtail on Cortez Bank also. Boats from San Diego, California, all the way up to the Channel Islands can access that region on day and a half, 2-day trips. So everybody's got a shot at this thing, and it's just starting to come back and look pretty good. I love what the Pacifica did on their 3-day trip with 98 of those yellowtail, nice big forkies for the most part, biting the surface iron on Cortez, biting a fly line bait. Really nice fish. I'm gonna call them 15 is probably too light out there. I mean, most of them are 20 to 25 with some fish to get up over 40 pounds. They're gorgeous big yellowtail out there. They also had 43 bluefin tuna. And in another world where we weren't so spoiled as we are now, that would be a tremendous score. As it is now, it's a rebound score, and it looks like that BFT might be headed in the right direction. It's not gone, it's everywhere, as a matter of fact. We're seeing bluefin tuna from above the Channel Islands, north of there, all the way down to south of the border. It's just the moon phase, my friends. It really does put a damper on the bite when you walk up to this full moon. And now that we're starting to come off it, man, look out. That's going to bite. It's going to just add more spice to an already excellent bite here in Southern California. All right, so many of the boats, because that bite has been sputtering out there on the banks. By the way, it's about a 90-mile run for most guys, 100-mile run to Cortez, like that from all of the areas that I described to you. Many of the guys have been coming out of Point Loma and hanging a left and going down into Mexican waters where the limit on Dorado is 2 fish per rod, and they have had full speed Dorado fishing, and yesterday was no exception. We've already talked to one boat who's in on a kelp, already limited out on Dorado. It's excellent fishing. They're not the biggest Dorado flatheads in the world, a lot of 5 to 10 pound fish. Occasionally you get one bigger than that, but man, are they fun. And is it so great to be rolling up on a kelp and everything in your body is like, are they going to bite? What's going to happen? Are they going to be big? Is there going to be any yellowfin mixed with them? Will there be bluefin? Anything else? That's what I love about this time of the year. It's the enigma that surrounds each and every kelp patty. You just never sure who's going to be home on the hotel that you're rolling up on. So really fun stuff and excellent fishing going on. Scott Bucher was on the Point Loma yesterday out of Point Loma Sportfishing. Fred Huber running the boat. And man, let me tell you something. They had easy limits, 2 fish per rod. In Mexican waters, U.S. waters, 10 per rod. Nice going, Scott. Scott's doing a great job back from Alaska. Not only doing a great job on deck, not only doing a great job when he cooks in the galley as he is this morning, but just doing a great job keeping me and all of you informed. That is great stuff. San Diego yesterday, 34 guys, 68 Dorado, 24 yellowtail on the kelps. A lot of those kelp patty yellowtail have been nicer grade fish. I want to call it 10 to 15 pounds for the most part, but some 20 pounders kicked in. There's some smaller fish. Also, most of the fish on the kelps are going to be taken on a fly line bait. And fluorocarbon is your best friend. Of course, we love Opsin fluorocarbon. www. Opsin USA. Put in FA at checkout. You'll get a free gift from Greg Brown. So choose a good hot bait and change that bait regularly and fish the fluorocarbon of your choice, and that's going to get you a bite every single time. It's been working really, really well. So mostly yellows, a lot of Dorado down there. We just keep seeing great scores. Sea Watch, 22 guys limits on the Dorado, 14 yellowfin tuna, 5 bluefin tuna, 2 yellowtail. That variety that we talk about all the time is there, and we'll be on that a week from tonight, departing out of Seaforth on board the Apollo. Get on that trip. Only a couple spots left. 657-227-6459. Can't wait to shoot another great video. The Mission Bell, my friend Sean Hardigan doing his thing. Limits of Dorado, 4 yellowfin tuna, and it goes on and on and on. And as we say, this is within range of boats up here in the LA Orange County area if you're on a multi-day trip, or I should say a day and a half or better. The Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, he was on a 1.75 day trip and had great fishing. $1.41 on the Dorado. Tremendous Dorado fishing for him, and also some yellowfin, and I think he had some bluefin, not sure on that. Also some yellowtail on the kelps. Mostly the Dorado. That was the major part of his trip, and it was a good one, man. 141 Dorado on a boat out of San Pedro, California. That is absolutely tremendous. I was talking to Will on board the El Patron yesterday. Last time I talked to him, he had like 20 Dorado, and I think he had a few yellowtail to go along with it. Offshore scene is coming together for LA Orange County based boats also. That is great news, and it goes right down to private boaters. Our friend Andrew Wynn, fishing out of Oceanside about 15 miles, started seeing dolphin schools, pods I should say, and he got on those things and started to work them, and man, it paid off with some really good yellowfin tuna fishing. Outstanding stuff. There were also just big foamers of yellowfin tuna up off Dana Point yesterday, about 15 miles. Our friend Alex Serrano, who is such a great person and fisherman. He's always doing a great job, and he's always taking kids fishing. I love it, Alex. Keep up the great work. Man, you are providing memories for a lifetime for those kids and opening the door to so many great things that they would ordinarily not experience. Way to go. They came up on a foamer yesterday and caught a couple of YFT. They were looking for bluefin, actually, and then came up on that fish, so that's good news. The Blackfish out of Davies Locker, Newport Beach, beautiful yacht, and they ended up out of there with 5 yellowtail, 2 bluefin tuna in the 60 to 80 pound class, and they fished the island, had limits of calico bass. So I don't know how you can beat that, man. Catching bass full speed, then going offshore and having a shot at Dorado, yellowfin tuna, bluefin tuna. That's pretty darn spectacular, if you ask me. So the offshore scene is still really good and continues to impress. And I'm telling you, with this El Nino, and it's supposed to get stronger still, it's going to push more of that warm water stuff up here. The gale force yesterday hooked a marlin off the east end of Catalina Island. You're going to see a lot more of that. There's a lot of marlin pushing in here now, as we have described to you on earlier morning briefings and earlier podcasts. So keep that in mind. A lot of billfish around this year, and I just think that we're going to have so many surprises that it's going to be crazy this year. Things are looking really, really good. Love the offshore situation. Islands, Todos Santos, down there off Ensenada, we continue to see some pretty darn good fishing in terms of bonita and a few barracuda, good calico, good rockfish. Can't beat that. Also, as we move you to the Coronado Islands, the conditions are finally starting to rebound a little bit. Seeing a few more yellowtail. It's just that kelps nearby are holding Dorado and everything else, so not many guys are fishing the islands. But those who do can find outstanding calico bass fishing, a little bit of yellowtail in there, rockfish sculpin, and that kind of thing. San Clemente Island, not bad if you get in there. You can pick off from 5 to 20 yellowtail on most days, dealing with the sea lions, the pain in the neck. Great calico bass fishing, great rock fishing also in that neck of the woods. Catalina Island, a few yellows most of the time, sometimes not. Sometimes it's all rockfish. It's been very inconsistent at Cat this year. Hadn't been all that great. Maybe all these yellows that are moving up on the kilps will finally get in there and start to bite it. Don't forget, we're starting to see a little bit more of that yellowtail. I'll get into the local scene in one moment, but we're starting to see some progress with regard to that also. And then we move you up into the Channel Islands, up there in that neck of the woods. They have some bluefin tuna that have been biting up there. In fact, the Aloha Spirit with 2 bluefin yesterday. Nice hit for them. Who in the world thought we'd be catching bluefin tuna up in the Channel Islands? Well, I did, for one, and so did most of you. It was a replay of last year. With this warm water moving up the Baja coast and pushing into SoCal, we're probably going to see more and more of that kind of action as we go along. There's some big time, really legit foamers up there in the Channel Islands. If that doesn't float your boat, there's plenty of rockfish. It's been outstanding for rockfish up there in that neck of the woods. Same thing up there out of Santa Barbara, and full speed albacore out of Fort Bragg up above San Francisco when the weather is cooperating. Not all that far, 15, 20, 30 miles. Man, full speed albie up there when you get on the right bunch of fish and work the temperature break that you should be working on the coast in terms of local fishing. Down there on the new Seaforth yesterday, San Diego. Yes, the other day somebody was asking, how's a yellowtail bite for the local guys? Like maybe 48 hours ago on one of our live shows. Hadn't been that good. Well, that's all we needed to say, because here we go. New Seaforth, half-day boat. In the morning, they had 6 yellowtail. In the afternoon, 9 yellowtail. There's been some pretty darn good calico bass fishing, albeit on a lot of short fish, but plenty of action, plenty of short barracuda. I know, yeah, it may not float your boat, but it's action, especially if you're taking kids. And now with a shot at the yellowtail and that big white sea bass that we saw the other day on the Point Loma, there's some fun local fishing going on. Same thing up there out of Dana Wharf, Sportfishing, Oceanside. Similar kind of a situation with some rockfish and sculpin and calico bass and bluefin tuna and yellowfin tuna right there. Believe me, you are in the ball game on that YFT in all those local landings, and that includes all the way up here to San Pedro and Long Beach and areas like that. We have a shot at that fish there also. It's very close to our coast, and it's going to go light switch on here very, very soon. Let me tell you, I love what we're seeing there. Our local bass fishing here in the area around Long Beach and St. Peter was phenomenal this year, but it has slowed way up. We had a drop in water temperature, and we also had a subsequent kind of discoloration with regard to the water, and it seemed to have resulted in slower bass fishing. A lot of guys doing sculpin and rockfish, but once again, there's Dorado, there's bluefin, there's a lot of yellowfin puddling around within range of half-day guys. So one of these days, they're going to turn their attention 100% to that, and we'll see how that goes. Up in the Channel Islands and Santa Monica Bay, mostly rockfish, a little bit of bass in there for the local boys also. Not bad at all, as we continue to monitor that for you very closely. In the surf, man, I'll tell you, nothing like surf fishing. During grunion runs, of course, predators have been attracted, following in all that bait that moves up on the beaches in the evening. And we're talking yellowfin croaker, we're talking spotfin croaker, we're talking halibut. I mean, anything that feeds on a grunion, and that's just about everything, is going to be in here, including big barb perch feed on those grunion also. So these beaches at times during grunion runs can be slow, which may be counterintuitive to you, but sometimes it seems like the fish are just done. They're plugged, they've eaten all night, and they've had enough. But other times it bites really, really well. So digging up sandworms or using sand crabs, corvina fishing, yellowfin croaker fishing, halibut fishing, lucky crab lures, it's pretty darn good right now, and that's only going to get better. You know, we're a month behind in all our bites, so there's a lot of surprises to come here in 2023. I'll guarantee you that. It's looking very exciting. Don't forget your surf fishing headquarters in SoCal, and that is Big Fish Bait and Tackle right there on the corner of Pacific Coast Highway and Seal Beach Boulevard in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. They've got all your baits. They're open at 5 a.m. They've got plenty of tackle. They've got big game tackle for you also. Big game tackle if you want to go and catch a bluefin or something like that. They have all of that also. All right, my friends, it's a gorgeous morning, and I hope you're going to be able to get out. If you want to go for a walk with me, we're doing that on Sunday at 9 a.m. 22nd Street Landing. Send me a text if you have any questions. And also, if you'd like to get on the Apollo, make sure you send me a text because that's going to go bye-bye very soon. We're leaving a week from tonight. Fishing's great in San Diego right now. 657-227-6459. Like us, please. Share us, please. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures channel right here on YouTube. And make sure you tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. Danny Cadota Show tonight. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We've got it all for you. And I can't wait to do another show for you. And maybe, who knows, there's some really cool breaking news. I'll be back on all our social media, including here on YouTube, with special updates. Have a beautiful Thursday. Wishing you and sending you all my very, very best. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friends. Have a great day.